So here's the thing. While OpenAI and Google have been charging ridiculous amounts for their vision-capable models and keeping everything locked behind paywalls, a Chinese company just walked in and completely changed the game. And honestly, the timing couldn't be more perfect, because both tech giants are desperately racing to launch their own AI agent tools right now. Let me paint you the picture. OpenAI is planning to release something called Operator in January. Google's working on their own consumer-focused agent. Anthropic just launched their computer use feature. Everyone's scrambling. And then Zhipu AI drops GLM 4.6V, and suddenly the entire AI community just stops and goes, wait, what just happened? Because this isn't just another model release. This is the first open-source multimodal model that treats images, videos, and screenshots as actual inputs for tool calling. Not as some afterthought that needs to be converted to text first. Not as a feature you pay $200 a month to access. Just straight-up open source. Download it right now. Run it locally if you want. The model comes in 2 versions. The big one has 106 billion parameters for cloud setups. And then there's a flash version with just 9 billion parameters that you can literally run on your laptop. And here's where it gets wild. The flash version is completely free. Both models are MIT licensed, which means companies can deploy them anywhere without worrying about opening their code or paying enterprise fees. Now let's talk pricing, because this is where things get absolutely insane. The larger version costs 30 cents per million input tokens and 90 cents per million output. Total cost? $1.20 per million tokens. Compare that to GPT 4.1 at $1.25 just for input plus output. Gemini 3 Pro goes even higher. And Claude Opus? $90 per million. GLM 4.6V is delivering benchmark scores that beat models way above its size, and it's doing it at a fraction of the cost. But the real breakthrough isn't the pricing, it's how this thing actually works. Traditional language models handle tool use through text. Even if you send an image, the model has to describe it. Turn that description into text, send it as a function argument, and wait for a text response. It's slow, it loses information, and frankly it feels outdated now. GLM 4.6V just skips all of that. A screenshot, a page from a PDF, a frame from a video, those pass straight into the tool without any conversion. And the tools can return visual outputs like search result grids, charts, or rendered web pages. The model then continues reasoning using those images alongside text in the same chain. That's the part that got researchers excited, because it finally closes the loop between perception, understanding, and action. And to make it all work smoothly, they extended the model context protocol to support URLs that represent images or frames. So instead of struggling with giant PDFs, the model just hops between references and decides which images to crop or pull back into the conversation. It's basically a vision-native execution layer. The context window is massive too, 128,000 tokens. That means it can handle around 150 pages of dense documents, 200 slides, or an entire hour of video in one go. Zhipu reported cases where it summarized financial reports from 4 public companies at once, extracted core metrics, compared them, and built a clean table. All in a single pass, not chunks stitched together. True global awareness across all documents. Where people really lost their minds was the visual web search workflow. The model detects what you're trying to do, decides which search actions to trigger, uses both text to image and image to text search depending on the task, reviews every chart and image that comes back, aligns them, picks the relevant evidence, and merges everything into a structured explanation. If you ask for a comparison of products or locations, the model literally pulls the visuals from the web and reasons with them during the process. Then there's front-end automation. When Zhipu says pixel-accurate replication, they mean it. You give it a screenshot of an app or website, and it reconstructs the full layout as clean HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Color schemes, component positions, spacing, it all lines up. Then you can circle an area on that screenshot, give a simple instruction like move this button or change this background, and the model maps that region back to the code and edits it. It even uses a visual feedback loop where it renders the updated version and checks if the change was applied correctly before sending the final output. Now let's talk benchmarks, because this is where you see why people are shocked. On Math Vista, it scored 88.2, beating the previous version and other models in its class. On Web Voyager, it hit 81, while competitors stayed at 68. On long context tasks, it outperformed massive models like Step 3 with 321 billion parameters. The training is just as impressive. They used a multi-stage setup with massive pre-training, fine-tuning, and reinforcement learning. But their RL system doesn't depend on people rating answers. It learns from verifiable tasks. Math problems, chart reading, coding interfaces, spatial reasoning. They even use curriculum sampling, which means the model gets progressively harder examples as it improves. Here's why the timing matters. OpenAI and Google are both pushing hard into agents right now. OpenAI's CEO Sam Altman said agents will be their next giant breakthrough. Google's launching Gemini 2.0 with agentic behavior. Both companies are clearly feeling pressure because reports suggest they're struggling to generate returns on their costly investments in bigger models. And then Zhipu just drops this open source system that does everything those closed labs are promising. But you can download it today, run it locally, and build on top of it with no restrictions. The weights are on Hugging Face right now. You can hit the API through an OpenAI-compatible interface. There's even a desktop assistant app you can try. So while OpenAI and Google scramble to launch their agent tools, the open source community just got handed a fully functional multimodal agent system that treats visual understanding and tool use as first-class features. That's why everyone stopped scrolling. That's why this release marks a genuine turning point. And honestly, it's going to be really interesting to see how the big labs respond to this. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.